the goal is like every week, like go through the agenda and make a round of common sense on the topics, and yeah, and work on them. And I don't have any distraction. I'll pass it to Chui.
Thank you, Septi. Um, Intentions, I would like to sync. Also, with Escanore, we're seeing some stuff around the HubSpot access. Uh, and yeah, it's just I would just like to touch base with the whole access issue. Distractions. I'm in a bus station waiting for a bus because I missed my flight this morning. So I don't think that'll be a distraction though. But yeah, I'll pass it to Ivy.
Thanks, Chewy. My intention is just to sync with the team and know where I can support. Or yeah, so that's my intention. And no distraction. So I'm passing it to Juan.
Thank you, Ivy. Yeah, my intention is to sync with you guys as well, to go through the agenda to see how can I help. And I don't have any distraction, just starting the week with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. I think we can start with like last week we updated the transparency on the Gitbook. Yeah, but we just I don't know, like yeah, we just actually like we did is paste some of the stuff we already write it on the forum, and on the about we also pasted the YouTube description we created, and then Ivy made this table for the access. But yeah, that's what we have already. And yeah, I just wanted to to hear from you guys if you think that's enough for this part, or we can start to work maybe or it's good for the moment, but maybe something we want to look and improve in the future. Yeah, because there is like actually like there is more issues, and I feel like the others are more important than this one, but this one is also very important. So yeah, just want to hear from you guys around. So I'll pass it to Chui.
Thank you, Septi. Um, well, as you know, I just went through the through the audit. Finally, I still have some stuff missing, especially around contributors. Uh, but I do think that there is like as an intention this week, I really like to highlight uh, dedication into transparency because we're like at a moment where I don't think we can like really stop and and we need to follow through with this process because it is really important. Like there is not a lot of time to stop and think during the hatch. Uh, so I think we should bring up and try to make like more open commitments to transparency. Uh, Maybe I don't know in the case of Hatcher outreach, like some kind of like transparency closure to put it in a way and yeah, it's just I like I know sometimes it's a hassle, but it's it's a very important part of the core of the cultural build. So uh, I I would like to like contribute with making this commitment and yeah be speaking about that topic during this week's working groups.
Awesome. Just one thing too. If you feel
Yes.
like you could like use me or Ivy to just get your audit finished, if you think that would help, just tell any of us and we come like we did last week. And also, I think like you did
Yes.
a very great job, and the thing is almost done. But again, like if you need another hour, it would be great. You know, like it's if it helps you to finish, get it done, it's awesome. Like we're here to help you.
Yeah, thank you, Zeptis. It's more around content. Really, like what was driving me crazy last week was was the like the structure of it, in that I had some parts that were missing. But yeah, actually with that guidance, FD, like that helped me a lot. So yeah, it's like right now with the content. Uh, yeah, I think it's a matter of like adjusting it, but yeah, if I have like any kind of questions or anything that is brought up, uh I'll make sure I'll let you know, because yeah, it was a lot of help last week.
Awesome. And do you want to talk about it, Ivy, or about the Gitbook thing?
I'm looking at it now, and I think the things that I would add here would be the links. Like for example, for the audit, maybe we can link it to the forum, to the audit folder or category in the forum. And the recordings, maybe we can link it to our YouTube channel. So yeah, those are the only two things I would add here.
Awesome. Do you want to end up the round, Juan?
Yes, I think that I really like that you added the list of the document access, the access document, and that it's posted in the Gitbook. So I think it's great, the access permissions. And yeah, I agree with Ivy that maybe we can hyperlink some of the words to the documents they refer to, but I think it looks good. Actually, I was reading conflict management, and yeah, I think I need to start doing some polishing, because it's like, yeah, you have done such a great work, and it would be great if one can always improve what has done.
Awesome. Okay, so we might jump to the next point of the agenda. Okay, yeah, I'm actually, I can show it. I'm creating a forum post because we have this new app for sharing credentials. That name is Jam. I don't know if you see it on the screen. Wait.
Yes, I can see.
I'm going to share like normal screen, just to make sure like this is showing. Okay, yeah. Chris Jones from Commons Stack told me like on Commons Stack they are using this app, and for example, like I just linked it on this app, Twitter and Google and yeah, the Google account. With the Google account, you have access to Medium, HubSpot, yeah, all of this. And yeah, the idea is like when you have like this app, you don't need to share because you enter here and then you add the friends you want to get access in here, and then you can also revoke. And yeah, this app is super cool, but personally, I feel like it's centralizing it's centralizing our storage and credentials, which have positive things, but also negative things. So I'm building a forum post. Wait, drive. Yeah, just to go through advice process, and yeah, one of the things that concerns me like is like who and why should have like the credentials management, because one like if you want to make it like as much secure as possible, you only have one person and maybe one to backup just in case something happens to that person, but not more than two on the full access. But then on the like it helps access, like I was saying before, you can revoke access, and that's one of the good things, because but yeah, the cultural thing is like, who should have this access and why, and do we want to only one person have all this power or not? Like but it's almost like the same for all the platforms, like for GitHub, Discord, like for everything. Like we have like a lot of admins, and I see, like, of course, like this is like you have more efficiency. The more you have, like, more efficiency, because like people don't have to be asking and stuff. But at the same time, it's more risk on security. So yeah, I wanted to hear, like, guys, from you, like, make a round on. Do you guys would prefer like a more centralized system or a more decentralized system? It's also going to go on the forum post, so like the whole community. I feel like this is something bigger that involves like the whole community, and yeah, I really want to hear from your opinions. I'm passing to you, Juan.
Well, I think your question is like so profound that it's hard to answer, because, like, yeah, centralization or decentralization. And I would say that if we could have like a mixed approach, it would be good. Where yeah, we can use some apps that are like yeah, that have a better administration from a centralized point of view. But I also think that the centralized part can also come from like the transparency of, like, I think that what you did in the Gitbook is really important, and like giving access to people to reach out to the people that can give them access. So yeah, it's not like, okay, we have these permissions and we are not going to share it. It's rather than, okay, we can share our permissions, but we are protecting them in this way. So I think we can take some good insight from each perspective, and yeah, be open for people to request access, but also administrate them the most secure way possible. I will pass to Ivy.
So I think would you use Jam or not, or do you like how it is right now?
Well, I think I need to know better the value proposal of the software of Jam, but I think yeah, we can use it and just add another layer to our security.
Awesome. And who do you think should have the access on the Jam, and why, if it's not much to ask?
Well, maybe we could do a vote. I think it could be like a neutral person. I think that I liked that when they were searching for like the admin of the Discord. Yeah, well, I volunteered, and yeah, like I am a trusted person in the community, and like, okay, so I think that maybe we can like say like. I think it shouldn't be like someone who is like a leader of a lot of projects like Griff, because yeah, that would mean centralization, and instead we could use like an incredibly neutral person, maybe you, Septi, or yeah, Chewy, someone who is trusted in the community, who you can like give access to that, and also is someone who works very close and related to these issues. Because like, yeah, if we give this to Griff, then people is going to like reach out to Griff for this issue, and maybe Griff could be better delegating these responsibilities. So yeah, it's just like my thinking. We could use like a central person, but that is neutral, to be on top of this. I think it can be like Ivy or you, Septi, who are people that have been managing this for a long time and have been doing it good. And the only value added is that we are going to be even like more transparent about what we're doing and more secure.
Cool. And another thing I think that's also interesting, it's like it's one idea that I had on mind, right? But instead of like, like we have, yeah, of course we have credentials, like, but almost it's only two, like the Google credential and the Twitter credential. Like then we have access for other stuff, but it's more shared. Like for example, we have GitHub, but then we have like the normal GitHub where we all are in there, and we also have like the commons for GitHub, and then we have Gitbook and we have Discord, and I feel like we have a good balance where it's like not one central point, but it's like a small project split it. So I think that's super cool actually, and I also write that on the forum post I'm writing, still work in progress. But yeah, like I really like the approach you gave, Juan. Like adding Jam just to have an extra layer. And actually, if I do not like, do you guys see my screen? This is I was doing some research, and this Null Cipher. It's an app that Sam showed me. It's still like it's not developed, but we would be using Jam until like these more decentralized applications come to surface, because they are not developed yet, but they are starting to be there, because credential management on the DAOs, it's a thing like we still need more decentralized apps, right? Because Jam is a centralized app. But yeah, I'd like to hear from you, Ivy. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And I think we should have like a process or something, because I mean, just right now, I've been asked to give like Twitter account, not you, Ivy. Like another person is asking me to get Twitter. Honestly, I don't know this person. I know he's working on comms, but like we don't have a process element. Like I honestly I don't know. I mean, it's hard, right? Because if something happens, who's responsible for something? It's me. It's the person who I give credentials. It's super weird. Like, I feel we really need a procediment here. And
I agree, Septi. Yeah, we could use like our own criteria, like being in the TEC for at least 2 months or 3 months, or like maybe being a recognized contributor in that working group. And also maybe we could also make the people like even just talking to say that they would be responsible for this, or maybe if they could, or if we want it written, we could also have just like a checkbox or of like, okay, I am going to use this information in a responsible way.
yeah, the thing I a bit disagree is because, like, imagine like the case, like it's like what's happening right now. Like, some person comes to help on something, but that he needs credentials, right? And he just came because someone called him to come and to do this. So that's fine. Like, I feel like this person should get the credentials, but at the same time, yeah, we should assign like responsibles or roles or something, like, like if something happens, who's responsible for it? Uh,
But Septi, I suggest that for this particular case, you should like approach to that people and communicate with them, um, because like it happened once in the organization that it was a source of conflict, that there was a contributor that came to do something, and he felt a little bit like um, bad because he was said that he was going to do something, and then they never gave him the permissions to do it. So he was like, okay, I want to contribute, but I am not being able to contribute because like I am not being trusted enough. So I think that in this case, you should like communicate to that person and tell him like, okay, what are your needs, and maybe if you need to, you can escalate the request to the stewards or something, but not like just overlooking it, because that could also affect the person that is wanting to contribute.
yeah, I totally agree with you, Juan. Do you want to say something, Chuy?
Yes, Septi. I was just gonna suggest that. I mean, I do feel that this needs to be put up for a vote. Uh, but I would go for. I mean, even though I know that Jam is a little bit more centralized, I would just go for it because of productivity. Productivity is a very like fragile factor in the next weeks. So I mean, if people need access to a specific platform and you hold all the credentials and maybe Ivy, because as a plan B, like you both are in different time zones. So if Septi is not reachable, probably Ivy is gonna be. But if you two handle, or just whoever, as one said, just whoever is someone reliable in the community. Uh, but I mean, if they will have to fill a Google form for getting access, I mean, at least it's a clear step, you know? I mean, at least they already like requested it and they were as clear as possible with what they need, and the form is sent. Uh, But like right now, I mean, I do have my suspicions. Probably Escanore was the one who reached out to you for Twitter because he's been asking uh, for Twitter access. But I didn't really like refer him to, oh yeah, talk to Septi, he will give you access. No, it's like, okay, I do have like credentials on Keybase, but we do have a 2FA for Twitter, and Septi is the one who handles that 2FA. So probably you get, you're gonna need to do something with him. But if he needs this access and he fills a Google form and you get it and you already know, like you are like more aware of the steps you have to take for this access to be possible. I know it's something centralized, but as long as it's transparent, as long as this process is transparent and it's in hands of someone that the community trusts, I think that it can work. And also, I mean, probably the worst part of this is just going to be chasing everyone around for gathering all the jam credentials, right? Like, okay, now I need access to GitHub. Okay, now I need access to Twitter. But once it's done, it's probably the last time that it's gonna need to be done. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would just go for as like more like practical suggestions. I would go for, let's fill a Google form, request the platforms that we need access to, and when you have the time, and when you have like a method like clearer, like in this case Jam, uh, I feel that we're gonna be like there, like where we need to be, because probably there's still gonna be a lot of a lot of room for improvements. But so far, like access is just like nowhere. Yeah, it's just like a pretty much gaining access to any platform is like getting nowhere. So this is what I would suggest. And I do agree that the option that Sam suggested to you is maybe like a more decentralized solution. But right now, like for making it work, and since reliability is not an issue, I go just for Jam.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, and that's also like something like Gem would solve, because like something could be done. It's like you change the password, like let's say every month, and since it's only giving a link to the people could ask for the link, and you give them the link, and you can also revoke access. So not like this person, yeah, would not need, you just revoke. But the thing is, like, I feel like this role, I don't know. But yeah, we could do
Um,
that.
you remember Septi about the social curation role in OneHive? Like we've talked about it as an example. Like uh, the way people like uh, vote for what's going to be put up in the in social media, just that they have this channel called social curation, and once any kind of content gets 10 upvotes, that gets published. The thing is that this role, like the role for having access to this channel where you can vote for social curation, uh, it resets every 2 weeks. So if people don't follow through or don't reselect the role, the channel is hidden for them and they cannot participate until they have that role back. So with changing credentials like once a month, I think that would be like the equivalent measure in this case. Uh, Like it's like, oh, okay, so now it's July and I needed to tweet something, but I don't have access anymore. Oh yeah, that's true. I have to request this access once per month and limit it to only the platforms that I'm using inside comms. I do think that's a great solution, and it does solve like the problem of just like resetting people. I mean, not having access to the platform is going to be much better, and it's just going to be a better option, right? But this reset can probably happen every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, and yeah, I mean, if there are any like old contributors that are no longer working in TC, uh, we wouldn't have to worry about this.
Yeah, awesome. And regarding that, should I give access to Scanore? Like, this process is not going to be done like right now. It's going to take like at least a week. But I know like he's working on the Twitter, so I'm asking you, like, should I give him access right away or should we wait?
Oh yeah, I mean, he does have access to TweetDeck, but right now he's trying to link the account with HubSpot, and then he's working on some like metrics for analytics and stuff like this. So probably he'll need access to the credentials. However, I still need to put him in touch with Craig to get access to the HubSpot, and when he has access to the HubSpot, we need to link the Twitter account. So I'm thinking of maybe asking Craig to do that, but then Craig would need to come back to you and ask you for credentials. So I'm
It's
trying to
chaotic.
find a way around like doing the same thing like all over again. So unless you have like any other like reason not to do so, I would probably give access to him while we figure this credentials thing out. And just as a security measure, and if you feel better about it, once we have this thing up and running, let's change all credentials regardless.
Yeah.
Just so that if anything slip through the cracks, like this thing, like right now, it's like, okay, Escanora needs access to Twitter, so while we figure it out, you go ahead and have the account, but we're gonna revoke credentials when we start doing this, and you'll have to go through the process. I find this like reasonable for him. So unless you don't, you have a specific reason, I would give him a chance with the Twitter account and see what he can put together.
No, yeah, it's cool. Like, the only reason I had is I don't know him. But if you're telling me like you know him and you trust him, yeah, let's better to get the work done than like like Juan was telling before. I don't want like Escanori feels like he wants to contribute but he's not allowed. Like, we really want him to feel comfortable. So yeah, and if you tell me, yeah, like you know him and you trust him, yeah, why not?
The only reason I'll go ahead and say yes is because he's my One Hive padrino. Like when I first walked into One Hive, he was the one who, hey, what's up? I'm from Venezuela, and he was like super nice. And I have never, like in the past 6 months of knowing him, of being part in the same community, like I've never seen anything bad or suspicious. He still has like a very like clean reputation in One Hive. So I'll just go ahead and make an exception this time. But yeah, like you can kind of like, this is like, I'll try to not do this anymore until we have a more specific procedure for access.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I also want to ask to add to what Troy said, if we will do it that way. Maybe once we have built this process and once we start resetting the credentials, I think it would be fair if everybody would go through the process. Like, since we are resetting the credentials, like everyone who used to have access should go through the process for just to be fair with the community members, because we're all equal here. And I don't know if it makes sense or it may take a lot of work or time, but I'm just thinking of being an open community. I think there shouldn't be an exception in going through this process once we have built that. So even those who have already accessed previously would lose their access and go through the process again, and maybe justify why they would need access and fill out this form. If we will go that way.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Are you talking specifically about people be willing to hand Septi the accounts, or I'm just trying to get it better? What you say?
I think what, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ivy, but what I think, like she said, is like, for example, I'm working on YouTube, and then I also should go through the process. Like, I need the
Yes.
YouTube account because of doing this, and this, and like, treat all the contributors equally, and like everyone should go through the process.
Yes, that's
And
what I mean.
also,
Yes.
and it's also good because I think it's also like super helpful, because if everyone goes through the process, everyone can give feedback. Awesome. I think, we're starting to only have 20 minutes, and there's still 3 topics to talk. I like the next topic is like on the last call with Edu, we were talking like we need some internal comms, and I think that's something like transparency and comms could work together. If you think that's a great idea, Chui. But actually, what I wanted to do in this call is like what the internal comms should do. Like what's that we need. Like we feel like sometimes all the information internally is not gathered from all, especially like the stewards. Like some stewards don't know something or stuff like that. That how do we solve that problem? And what do you guys think this internal comms role should have? For me, I think like, go ahead, Troy.
No problem, Septi. You go, sir.
Okay, cool. For me, like what this role should do is something like actually like something like you're doing with One Hive too, like updating them with the common swatter. But this would be something like communicate. I would do like this role should post like every week on the forum post, explaining like everything that's happening on every working group, and maybe even in the common stack, or like the burn and all these things, all that affects the TC, have it on the forum post like every week.
But
And if some
Okay. So you mean gathering information and updates from working groups, so we can have a weekly update in like a general TC update? Okay, so it would be more like let's put it this way, like it would be like a more informal blog post with updates, right? Something just like to catch up with, like just like the common swarm.
Yeah. And like something like the blog post sometimes is a bit slow because it's every 2 weeks, if I do not know if I am not wrong. I don't know.
Yes, I do think, like I think I get a sense of what you're asking for. I do agree. It would be something really useful. But I would probably just like ask you for this week, just to finish syncing with Acid Laser and Escanore, like to get things more up on its feet, just so that I can follow through as many times as necessary. And once we're like up and running, probably I think I can start with this next week, because I'd like to attend like all meetings, and as you say, make it work more as a like fusion between comms and transparency. And I mean, unless you have any inconvenience with it starting this weekend instead of the next one, that's the only thing that I would put on the table. But yeah, I do find this very, very useful.
You mean do our fair post this week?
No, I mean start doing it next week, just so
Yeah.
that I can make sure I attend like all the working groups and like make like more commitments around that specific need.
Yeah, and I think like the first step should be define this role, and like even if we take like 2-3 weeks, like we are not in a rush. This is not critical for Hatch, so we can take our time and do it correctly. Like we don't. I feel like we don't need to rush, and everyone is like super busy right now because of the Hatch. But like I really want to start putting the first steps, like defining the role, and as soon as we're ready, just we go for it, right? But with no rush, like no pressure, because otherwise, I want people to feel comfortable, not in a hurry.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that a lot, Septi. It's just that it's like a general mood that I have, and I wanted to start this week because the hatch is coming. So I'm pretty much just like hyping everyone in comms so that we can have this mood. Like, it's like, okay, we gotta be on top of this. Like the hatch is happening. We have 28 days. We're gonna need like to handle this and that. So it's like a more let's put it like a chaotic or even dramatic stage at this point. But yeah, like it's not like I mean, it's not like my intention to put pressure on the community or generate like any kind of tension. It's just like something more like a more active and reactive approach I'd like to have for comms these next weeks. So yeah, like just so that I want to be clear so that you don't take it like as I'm trying like to push it or have it ready before the time is right, of course.
Yeah, cool.
I actually have two questions about this, Zep. So one is, would this be assigned to only one person who would be creating the forum post, or will this be something that the stewards have to do also every week? Because if it's gonna be, because I feel like it's a great idea actually just to put those weekly updates in the forum, but I'm also thinking it's like kind of redundant with the community call. I mean, we have the community call for that purpose, right? And I'm thinking that if the stewards have to work on these weekly updates, I think we should consult everyone before proceeding with that, because maybe some of the stewards don't have the bandwidth to work on that.
But the idea is like the stewards should like it should be like a work through transparency and comms. And yeah, the idea is also like we have this community call, but some people like more to write than to watch, and
Okay.
it's a process to have all the information available in all the ways possible. So like we are transparent, but the idea is we're transparent because the information is there, but sometimes like people don't know the information is there, and we like the goal here is to try to make people feel like the information is everywhere and they can check whatever they want and they will be informed.
Okay. And another thing is like, I think because I don't see the difference right now with what we are talking about. I mean, I don't see the difference between external communications and internal communications, because everything we communicate in the forum is not really internal, because it goes to the whole community, right? My understanding of internal comms would be like a more targeted communication. I think that's how I understood what Eduardo said last time. So I think if it's for more targeted communication, there will be only like list of people who would be receiving this communication. I'm just a bit confused with how the information we post in the forum becomes internal when it's open to the public. So it's not really internal, it's more external. So
yeah, I see. I see and I agree.
So yeah, that's just
I see. So maybe since it's also an informal thing, maybe post it on the stewards chat, right? Like, okay, this is what's happening. Yeah, that's a change of paradigm. But what do you guys think? I mean, that would be more internal, right? What do you think, Juan?
I just want to add, like, what issues do we have to communicate internally? because it might also conflict with or being transparent if there are issues we communicate only internally, and unless we define them, which issues should be communicated internally.
No, I mean, we're not hiding anything. We're just making sure like people know. Like, for example, one of the things that bring my bell, like, oh, we should know that. Like, for example, Chui was working on comms and he didn't know about the burn, for example. And that's something, like Chui must happen. And the idea is like, if Chui don't know, like somehow we have a system that makes sure that not Chui, I'm using Chui because of that, but everyone knows like everything, especially like the stewards. That's the goal. And now we have to define how we reach that goal.
Hey, Seb, this is just like it's a dumb idea, but I wanted to share it anyway. What about like weekly quizzes, maybe? Quizzes I mean, if we have praise as our incentive, maybe we could, like, with this weekly update thing, maybe we could come up with a format that is just like between 3 to 5 simple questions with like a multiple option thing. And maybe something that we can put out there, like from transparency. It's like, hey, what's up, everyone in the community? We're doing this just to have like a better temperature check or whatever, like regarding what people know and what's going on and what's happening, and maybe praise people who take the like 5 minutes to answer these. I don't know. It's just like the least thing that I want to do by now is take more of people's times with everything that is going on. But yeah, as you say, like, how can we make sure everyone is in sync with this, right? Because I was just like finding out about this thing with the impact hour. There's also a lot of people that didn't know, and through me like realizing, I realized about like a more general people that didn't know about this. So, what do you think about this idea?
Yeah, I mean, if you are praising people, you're stealing their time somehow. I really wanted an approach like, but I mean, we can work on that. Like, of course, like we're open to like we need to clear the process, and yeah, of course, that we can investigate how we do that. But what I had in mind at the beginning, at least, it was something like yeah. I mean, after hearing Ivy, my idea was something like have something that, for example, I send you a private DM even like, oh Chui, we have all these things going on, and just huh? You know what I mean? And not and then I copy paste this message and I send it to all the stewards, for example, something. But yeah, I mean, we can combine like both process, and because we also need like know as much as possible, because the community is going to grow bigger and bigger, and every time it's going to be harder to catch up with everything.
I think that we could have like a top 5 things that happened during this week. And I think this is something that we somehow do in the Stewards call, that when we are preparing the blog post. So maybe that would be like a good place to like collect that information of the top 5 things, and maybe like make it a recurrent tweet during or like weekly tweet about, yeah, hey, don't forget that these are the main things that happened this week. Oh.
Yeah, but it's more external and not internal. I think we have to ask Eduardo again what he meant by internal comms. I mean, where it's coming from. Yeah, I'm just confused how to differentiate this internal comms with external comms that he was proposing. But yeah, my understanding is it's not really internal comms, but more like a targeted communication. I think it was from those from communicating to these people with impact hours who don't who haven't activated their trusted seed membership. And I think that's the issue he was talking about last time. But yeah, I just want to clarify first what's the goal for the internal comms before coming up with a solution.
Yeah, the goal is like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine, Seppi. Actually, if you want to say it, it's okay because I need to leave just a few minutes before so I can get on the bus in time. So yeah, you go ahead. So what would be the what do you think would be the internal comms goal?
Yeah, like the internal comms goal would be like, for me, I mean, as I'm seeing it, it's like the stewards knows everything. And I agree with what, maybe that's also like why we have stewards working group. Yeah. Yeah, I also think, yeah, but maybe it's more than a stewards task, not than transparency. But I feel like the goal with that would be like all the stewards know everything. But also at the same time, as Ivy was mentioning, like with the impact hours, we are TMing all the members that didn't activate their trusted seed to do it because they have impact hours and they are value money. So yeah, go ahead, Chuy.
Oh, it's okay, Seppi. I agree. Let's talk this week about how we can like improve this process, and yeah, count with weekly updates is something that I can get on. And also, well, Escanora is coming to the Twitter thing, ID with us. And yeah, I mean, in general, they both are gonna be more involved this week in working groups and stuff like this. So yeah, hopefully, Comms can get in its feet this week. I'm gonna have to leave you guys for some minutes, but I'll be right back. I'm just getting in the bus.
Okay, cool. Just one thing, if you can just hear it, like, okay, we have in the agenda like, what do we want to make for the internal comms role, and right now it's empty. But feel free to add any roles. Like, I feel like our first step is define this role, so feel free to add whatever we want to have as a goal there. And yeah. Thank you so much, Chuy. Have a nice
No
drive.
Thank you, Septi. Actually, what's the word for gestión in English? You remember?
Management would be that correct?
Management. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to
Okay,
add that,
awesome.
like access management and okay, just so that just so that I don't lose those ideas. I'll be right back. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Che. Okay. Oh yeah, we also had some points, but it's only 5 minutes, so I don't think we have time. Maybe we discuss like this for the next call. I mean, oh yeah, sorry. Actually, like one of the points was like we're working. Actually, like since you're here, Juan, it's super cool because we're working on a document on transparency for having rules, and yeah, we're doing something similar that what Levi was doing with the code of conduct, but we're doing it for people having like we need to have this process of the management credentials, all of that, and we are just creating some kind of rules. And maybe it would be also interesting to have gravity inputs in there, and maybe some sanctions for the forbidden things. I don't know, like, or yeah, just to have some approach if people break the rules or something. I know, like, we have this positive communication, and yeah, just to have some kind of how do we manage that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Of course, like we have discussed that the best application of graduated sanctions are like sports, where people like they know what would be like a yellow card and what would be like a red card. So if we say like, okay, like these are the responsibilities for having like the for managing our platforms. So yeah, if you like take any information from, like, you accept these requirements, and like if you share some information, some private information with people external to the organization, that would be like a red card, or yeah, like a yellow card, or depending on the severity of the rules we want to implement. But I think, yeah, it would be good. Just we can like program it, schedule it, and then we brainstorm and continue working on that.
Oh, that's awesome. We actually have, because Nate loves to, like, this is an initiative from Nate, and he really wants to work on that. And we're gathering like after SoftCop on tomorrow. Like we have like a work session every, like until we finish that task. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I think in English is correct, Tuesday. And we meet every Tuesday after SoftCop.
Okay, maybe I wouldn't be able to join this week because I think I have also a call at that same time. But if you start with, I can check the doc async, and then maybe join to the next call, or yeah, continue working on that. Because I think that tomorrow I have a call after SoftGov already.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine and awesome. Like the work is still on a early stage, so when the work is more mature, that's when Gravity can just start. You know, like right now it's very vague, so maybe yeah. I mean, of course you can contribute, but more as a, let's say, creating those rules and seeing this process, but not as the sanctions or that stuff, because we still working on that, right? We're still working on what can go wrong and what on all of that. And
yeah, I just pasted the link to the forum post that I first made with like the scale of conflicts, and maybe we can make some sort of this thing for the platforms, like yeah, some kind of requirements, and for people also. I think that for the Graviton role, we have like these additional exigencies that, and so we can. I think that the code of conduct is like the baseline of the exigencies that we have for in the organization, but I think that each role and each working group has its own like exigencies. So I think, yeah, that we can continue like defining these boundaries, and saying like what are the exigencies that people commit when managing those platforms, and what are the ethics that we want to promote of the use of those platforms.
yeah, awesome. Hey, Metaverde, we're just wrapping up the transparency call.
Yes,
I think you're here for the Twitter thing. And
I
yeah,
am.
awesome. So yeah, we're closing the call here, and yeah, have a great session on Twitter. I think, Ivy, you wanna stay here, right?
Oh yeah, we'll go to comms channel.
We'll go to Comms channel.
Yeah.
See ya,
All
guys.
right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello, Meta, and see you later.